Cinna.
Pals!
Well, with all the excitement of Deadpool and Wolverine, I thought this would be a good opportunity to look at some trailer breakdowns. Trailer breakdowns to extract more information, more data, to see what else we should be excited about.
Yeah, apparently there were a lot of Easter eggs. A lot.
Easter eggs.
Am I struggling to speak as well?
Yes, we're all doing that.
Yeah.
We need more water.
Yeah, exactly.
California's running out of water. We need more rain. What is going on, everybody? I'm Jabby Kawai, joined by Chara Kirk.
What's up?
We're looking at the heavy spoilers video, Deadpool and Wolverine trailer breakdown, Easter eggs, plot details, TVA, villain, X-Men, and reaction. So, if you guys haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, please, bell icon, all notifications, and pretty please vote this up. Let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. And while you're subscribing and upvoting, be so kind as to follow Heavy Spoilers as well. There's a link in the description below if you want to click on that, give the original video an upvote, and subscribe to him from there. Here we go.
Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host, Paul, and I don't know if you know, mate, but the first trailer for the new Deadpool is out now. Ow!
Ow!
Throughout this video, we're going to be breaking the whole thing down, talking about the Easter eggs, and also what we think will be in the film. There's a lot to cover, and I also want to touch on the rumors about some characters who will show up in the film.
Spoiler alert.
Heavy spoilers ahead, yeah? So if you don't want to know, then I highly recommend that you turn off now. Please hit the thumbs up button.
I want to know.
Don't forget to subscribe for videos like this every day. By the way, huge thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into that brand new trailer.
Oh, doesn't he look sweet?
Happy birthday to you.
All right, okay. It's been a challenging few years, for sure. But I'm happy. That is because of each and every one of you. I'm the luckiest man alive.
Make a wish, buddy.
Wade Wilson?
Who's asking? Whoa. Is that supposed to be scary? Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
Okay, so the
love
trailer
that
actually
joke.
had a spot running at the Super Bowl that showed some slightly different footage. I couldn't track it down for this video because it'll probably get flagged, but I put out some feelers, and apparently it had him suiting up and also showed a quick look at the job that we see him working at in the teaser. It was pretty much him going through a midlife crisis, and you could say the MCU's going through a midlife crisis. Hey. Anyway, this idea of him being unhappy and just working a menial job, it's one of the many jobs that we've seen him doing in the trilogy.
It looks like Comcast or something like that, or Time Warner Cable. Like, he looks like he was working at one of those stores.
I thought Best Buy, but okay.
That doesn't look like Best Buy to me.
No, oh, you go there a lot,
Yes.
so you would know.
First, he worked as a Need a Hero merc and would go around telling Peter guys to stop harassing women. Need a Hero was itself seen on a car, with it being an advert on top of Dopinder's taxi. Mobius was of course in a similar position as well, and we know this movie's gonna have some TVA involvement. Makes sense that he's had to find other work too, as since Fox was acquired by Disney, he's sort of been left in the lurch. It was all the way back in 2019 where we had Reynolds posting a photo of himself at Marvel Studios. He said he'd auditioned for the role of Anthony Stark, and that a nice man with a taser escorted him to the ground. If you cast your mind back 5 years to 2019, then you'll remember that was the year that Captain Marvel and Endgame were released. So yeah, this has been a long time coming, and we of course will see the return of Wolverine as well. What I love is that it's kind of playing off an almost decade-long joke, with Hugh Jackman featuring in all the films in some form or another. Wolverine was actually meant to cameo during the first movie, but unfortunately they didn't have the budget to make it work.
Aw.
Still, Deadpool ended up wearing a cut out of his face, and the second film started with him winding up a musical box of his death scene. Even Deadpool's death used the same music as Wolverine's, with the music being reused in both moments.
There's one out there for you. Just keep looking.
I didn't even catch that. That's hilarious.
Oh my god.
A Wolverine showing up was first to introduce us in the Deadpool 2 post-credits scene when Wade said the following.
But one day, your old pal Wade's gonna ask you to get back in the saddle again. And when he does, say yes.
Wade had also been messing around with time travel, and thus I think this is where the TVA is going to come in. Now, the trailer itself starts off with a celebration of Wade's birthday. Deadpool debuted all the way back in 1991, and we actually had a big announcement recently with Rob Liefeld. In case you don't know, Rob's the creator of the character, and he put out a post saying he was retiring him. It's been 33 years, the Jesus year, which comes up later, and sometimes maybe it's just best to let things rest.
Oh,
Yeah, but-
what
but
is
no,
the Jesus
you know,
year?
Hollywood isn't going to allow it.
Jesus supposedly died at the age of 33.
Oh.
Yeah, and he said he'd been doing it for 33 years.
Oh,
And
okay.
that also ties into the Marvel Jesus idea.
Oh, right. Marvel Jesus.
Yes.
Very good. Yeah, I like
This
that.
whole numbers thing is a trend right now because I saw an Instagram video that was sent to me about Taylor Swift and the Super Bowl and the number 13 that kept popping up all over the place, including the name of her album.
Either way, we've had birthday issues before, with Deadpool Nearly 30 having his birthday on the cover. That was obviously celebrating 30 years since his
Look at
creation,
Wolverine.
and he was joined by several other Marvel heroes. Yeah, they have some heroes from the trilogy, and Liefeld also appeared in the first movie, so I'd love to see him pop up in this film.
Liefeld.
The fact that it's
Oh.
his birthday, though, also carries some importance, as this movie's going to be a celebration of the Fox universe. Here he's joined by Colossus, Yukio, and Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
What the shit? That's the coolest name ever!
On top of this, there's also Buck, Blind Al, Dopinder, Shatterstar, and Peter. Bring back X-Force along with Vanessa. These characters have of course appeared throughout the franchise, with Yukio and Negasonic being an item. A little bit of trivia for you, but in the first film, Negasonic had short hair because they wanted to show that her powers burn it off when activated. However, in part 2, Brianna Hildebrand had other project commitments, and thus they just let it grow out.
Oh, cool.
Colossus also looks slightly different, with his design updated slightly due to an increased CGI budget. Wade is wearing a wig, and at this point we get a knock at the door. That's from the TVA, with them taking him to the organization. As they whip out their pruning sticks, he says it's not the first time he's been pegged, but it's the first time for Disney. This is a reference to the first film, in which they celebrated International Women's Day. Now, I'm going to preface what I'm about to say next, because it might sound a bit stupid yet, but I'm going to preface this by saying sometimes the MCU takes certain comic stories that belong to certain characters and give them to other heroes. For example, in the comics, Hank Pym created Ultron, whereas in the movies, it was Tony and Bruce. The Infinity Saga didn't even feature Adam Warlock, and if you've read the comics, then you'll know that's a pretty massive change-up. Now, why I'm telling you this is because this story sort of comes from the comics, but instead of being Deadpool, it's actually a She-Hulk one.
Oh.
Both characters break the fourth wall, and thus it does kind of make sense you
true.
can interchange stories with them. Deadpool has fought the TVA before, but this seems like it's playing off the time of her life. That was the character's 100th issue, which in itself was also her birthday. In that, She-Hulk was put on trial by the TVA because she'd altered things to save Hawkeye's life, which may play off how
gotcha.
Deadpool saved Vanessa. She was supposed to die in that second film, but at the end, Wade used time travel to go back and save her. Marina Baccarin is going to be back too, and I don't think it would be a Deadpool movie without her at least somewhere in it.
Childhood.
Rougher than yours. Daddy left before I was born.
Her hair grew too.
Daddy left before I was conceived.
Marina Baccarin's hinted that her character will become Copycat, which is something they've wanted to do for 3 films now. In case you don't know, Copycat's a shapeshifter who, similar to Mystique, is able to change her appearance.
Oh,
Looks kinda like
The
Mystique
first film,
as
those
well.
lines shown in the trailers had her saying she's played a number of different roles. This was then removed for the final cut, with Tim Miller wanting to do it for the second film. We just dropped a big breakdown on the channel talking about all the making of and Easter eggs in that, so check it out if you want to know the full story, but it's one of the main reasons why Tim Miller left the project. That was over creative differences, with Vanessa's role then being greatly reduced. Marina Baccarin did say that she felt she may have been a victim of fridging, but the ending did change things so that she was saved.
What's fridging?
When you take a character, I think it's usually like a romantic interest, and then you kind of like kill them or like put them away in the fridge.
Oh,
movie.
okay, copy.
Would love to see Copycat finally get to shine, and yeah, that's a big direction to take the character to.
That would be
That's
interesting.
Because we learn Wade's being brought in for other purposes. However, the TVA do tend to recruit those that they punish. Loki should never have escaped during Endgame, and he was then brought in to help track one of his variants down. That is something that could be happening here, which we'll talk more about in just a bit. Now, another aspect of that She-Hulk issue is that it's the first appearance of Paradox, who we then meet in the TVA. Paradox is not to be confused with Dox, and in the comics he is a clone of Mobius. The TVA obviously aren't doing that for the MCU because we've had so many of their agents, whereas there they were mainly clones. Still though, Paradox will be a cool character to pop up, and McFadden's name's been on the up and up after Succession.
Yeah.
It's a very similar scene of Mobius interrogating Loki, and we also get an Avengers shot like what was shown there. Wade's described as a hero among heroes, and basically he's here to save the MCU. He refers to himself as a Jesus, with this being the second time he's been mentioned in the trilogy.
Now I'm talked about in the same sentence as Jesus. Passion of the Christ, then me.
Seems like Wade's here to save the Marvel Universe, which is kind of an opposite to one of his most famous comic book runs. In case you don't know, that is, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, with them flipping the context here. It's had numerous sequels and originally culminate with Deadpool going to the Marvel offices and killing the writers and artists.
Wow.
I don't know if they'll do something like that because of the She-Hulk finale,
Yeah.
but kills motifs.
That's where my mind went immediately.
To the film. I actually think they might tell Wade he's saving it, when in reality he's here to kill the Fox universe. That could then act as a swan song for that franchise before finally bringing them across to the MCU. There has been lots of footage from the set leak that unfortunately I can't show due to licensing issues. We have included them in some videos before, and shout out to Jeff at Bav Media for allowing us to use them, but we had to buy licenses and ask for permission. I'm not sure on exclusivity. It's late. I don't want to be messaging the guy at 3:30 in the morning. So yeah, we won't use them, but chances are that you've probably seen them anyway.
Nope.
This had the sign for 20th Century Fox down there with Deadpool and Wolverine fighting in front of it.
I didn't catch that.
So this is why I think they're just getting rid of the whole studio and doing this as a tongue-in-cheek way to say goodbye to it. They include a fight between Wolverine and Sabretooth, with his Tyler Mane version reappearing. There's also Toad from the first film and some other Easter eggs hinting at the larger Marvel universe. The Fantastic Four car was there too, along with Red Skull's car from the first Avenger. We also had other versions of Deadpool, including Dogpool, and a version of Deadpool who doesn't have a burned face. It's possible that this is Major Wilson of S.H.I.E.L.D., as he was known as the good-looking Deadpool when we look at the comics. At this point we then see him suiting up, along with his returning swords in B and Arthur. In the opening of the second film, we could see the name B written on the bottom of the handle, with this confirming that they were indeed their names. Deadpool in the comics is a big fan of the Golden Girls and even wore a t-shirt with B. Arthur's face on in the first film. Now if you want to suit up and help support the channel, then make your eyes wander to our merch store right below the video. Check out Kevin Feige, It's All Connected shirts, which are linked below, and if you buy one, I guarantee your mates will look at you wishing they had your life, and they definitely don't think you're a twat. They want your fucking life. At this point, we get a big bloody battle down there, showcasing some of the fights that are going to happen. We also see Wade popping his hand over some tree branches, saying wait, like how he did in the first film when it came to Ajax's men. So at this point, I want to segue into something else and tell you that Taylor Swift's rumored to be appearing in the movie. She's certainly entered a new era of her career, and she's rumored to be playing one or two characters. The first is Dazzler, which makes a lot of sense, as she seems like someone who would fit the look perfectly and has the talent to back it up. Swifties assemble! Dazzler is a mutant with the ability to convert sound into energy beams, and they could have a great musical number with her at the helm.
Oh my god.
It would be dumb not to include her if there's an opportunity to include her.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, that's just money. As if people get even a slight whiff of the possibility of Taylor Swift being in this, all the Swifties are going to come in droves.
Hell yeah.
Balloon the box office.
Yeah.
All the way to the moon and beyond.
Taylor could tell Deadpool she knew he was trouble when he walks in, but she may stop the bad blood with Wolverine, and because they never go out of style, it'll be Take Me Home. On top of this, there's also the possibility that she could play Lady Deadpool. It's too been rumored that she'll appear here, and there was a little nod of the character in the second film. During the opening montage, Deadpool donned high heels and a blonde wig when taking down the bad guys. This was put in as an Easter egg for fans of the comics, and I'd love to see Lady Deadpool pop up in the film. Swift and Reynolds go way back as well, and his wife Blake Lively's apparently, they're all good friends with each other. Swift Samuel Edwards' voice on the song Gorgeous, and in 2016, she also borrowed one of Ryan's Deadpool costumes for Halloween.
Amazing.
So it'd be great to see her brought into the third film, and I think if she was Dazzler, that would be such a cool mutant to have show up. And from what I've heard, there's some big characters coming back, and probably Elektra with Jennifer Garner returning.
What?
I say probably because she hasn't confirmed she's in it, but she did say this.
An individual question for you. Did you ever think you were going to wear the Elektra suit again?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So,
what could you mean?
I'm hypothetically thinking you could be in a Deadpool sequel. Hypothetically.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, I'll avoid. I'll move on. So
that's the most I've ever seen him laugh. You met him.
Yeah.
That's the most I've ever seen him laugh. Steve?
Isn't it?
I assume Steve in my head, but I'm like, no, that's way too common. There's no way it's Steve. I've talked to him many times, and I've never seen him smile, not once. I guess he was just nervous because Jennifer Garner's so hot.
He's pretty, like, intense and serious a lot of the time, yeah.
He's in DGAF mode, and I love it. It's like the most DGAF person I've ever met. I guess he was just a little bit nervous asking her about this because he knew he was taking a chance.
Okay, I'll avoid. I'll move on. So
yeah, bloody hell, these actors, mate, can't lie to save their lives. I also wonder if we're going to be tying things in heavily with the X-Men universe that we saw at the end of the Marvels. It would make a lot of sense, and we know that Professor X and Beast exist in it. Potentially, that could be where we pick up, with Monica's arrival flagging it to the TVA. They could then discover Deadpool has been messing with time, and it might be a way to bring it all together. Anyway, back to the end of the trailer, and with this seemingly happening in the void and heavily involving the TVA, I wonder if we're going to end up potentially seeing Loki. I know Tom Hiddleston said that he's retiring from the role, but he said that like 4 times now, more than Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
He did have a big send-off in season 2, though, to be fair. However, it could leave the door open for other things. In case you didn't see it, that saw the organisation being restructured and now just monitor branches to stop the threat of Kang. Whereas in the past they'd pruned them completely, here they were allowing them to continue and grow. At the heart of it was Loki, who was holding the entire multiverse together. We also know from the end of What If Season 2 that Captain Carter will be heading there as well. And that takes in a theory.
Oh, more theories!
This whole thing with Loki, like the way it ended with him saving all these universes and stuff, I think that if that is the end of Loki, that's actually a great send-off.
Yeah.
You know, it was beautifully done. And it was
Very well done,
such a strong ending. The whole idea of retiring a character is probably said very close to the end of a production, right? And then the production concludes, the show comes out, people are like rejoicing at how great it is, etc., etc. Some time passes. Where's the phone calls? I want some more work. Hey, I'll do Loki again, you know?
Right, or the studios are like, how much money can we throw at this actor to make him come back?
That was my first thought, you know? And then I went to the other place. It's just, yeah, exactly. It's like, how much money do you have? Yes.
Yes,
So,
keep it coming.
Tom Hiddleston's obviously quite a popular actor, but he's not at the same level as like Leonardo DiCaprio, right? If it's been a minute, and there's more money to be made off of this character, why not? And I think Deadpool's also like an exceptional situation where you can kind of get away with more stuff.
Right, yeah,
you know what I mean?
because you could do a one-off, it could be kind of fun.
Exactly.
You know, just a little cameo.
Yeah, one and done.
So you see, Secret Wars is on the horizon, which will see multiple universes all coming together. Judging by the upcoming slate, we don't really have that many multiversal movies, so I feel like a lot of the build-up towards it will happen in this. Imagine that some of the Fox characters will make the leap across, including Wolverine and someone like Professor X. When asked if he was gonna be in Secret Wars, Patrick Stewart has said the following.
I love that you had a chance to bring your character, Professor X, back into Doctor Strange. We've seen some X-Men also come into the Marvel family. There's rumors that we may see you in the Avengers, Secret Wars. Do you want to put that rumor to rest right now?
I cannot put it to rest because it's not a fact, either for or against.
Okay.
It is a possibility. Hugh Jackman and I looked upon Logan as being our farewell. Given that I died in that film, although
it's a multiverse.
I've been told I've actually died several times.
Yeah, in X-Men 3 he died.
Right? He just keeps coming back, folks.
How do I do it?
But so there's a possibility,
Didn't he
and
die in
that's all
X-Men
we
3?
need.
I thought
That's
he did.
all we need.
Yeah,
that is enough for us to get excited.
Know that, and you could get lucky.
Patrick Stewart ages in an interesting way because he looks very much the same for the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Like he looks so similar. I can tell he's older only by the fact that he talks different. That's it. You know,
Yeah,
he
his
talks a little
voice.
slower. He's got a little bit
Yeah.
more gravel in his voice. Like clearly there's age in his vocal quality. But other than that, he looks pretty much the same. He's been bald for a really long time. So that kind of helps.
I
you know?
guess it keeps you youthful.
Yeah. He reminds me of your dad for some reason.
He totally reminds me of my dad.
So yeah, don't need to be able to read minds to figure that one out, and I'd love seeing someone like Magneto go across as well. Now, speaking of Professor X, it's also rumored that his sister Cassandra Nova will be in the film too. She'll apparently be played by Emma Corrin, and it's a pretty big character to have show up in the film. I do believe we see the back of her head at one point, and we also get a shot of Wolverine in a white tuxedo, linking
That's
back
what
to
I
how
was
he looks
talking
sometimes
about.
in the comics. I'm guessing that
Gotcha.
this is out in Madripoor, but yeah, Cassandra is going to be a big thing for the film. In case you don't know, she's actually Professor X's evil twin, who was first introduced during Grant Morrison's New X-Men. It's a bit all over the place, but she was basically born without a body and then uses DNA in order to make her own. In the womb, she attempted to kill him, but Charles ended up hitting her with a psychic blast. Their mother ended up having a miscarriage, but Cassandra's consciousness remained, and she managed to rebuild herself from the rot in the sewers. After decades, she became a fully formed human and sought out a path to seek revenge on Charles. She's someone who believes that the world isn't real and that she and Charles have created the universe in their minds. Personally, I think they'll skip all that and just have a similar thing to what they did with Cable. Cable is like, well, he's like the son of Cyclops and Jean Grey's clone, Madeline Pryor, who fights a future war and raises Hope Summers. The They realized when making Deadpool 2, it was way too convoluted and just ended up cutting it all out. So probably we'll do something like that if she is indeed doing that in the film. I think if Deadpool's trying to destroy it or the TVA are trying to wipe out the universe, she'd of course have issues with her world being destroyed. To also give us a villain that we haven't really seen before and create a major threat that would need the whole X-verse to team up to destroy. Although we don't get a lot of Wolverine in this teaser, we do get a tease, and is that why they call it a teaser? Well, we'll get a teaser, and we'll close out with Deadpool on his back with him asking for some help, and then Wolverine unleashes his claws to help pick him up. Hugh Jackman returning is obviously a massive thing, as the guy had his send-off during Logan. That saw the death of the character.
Boom! Spoiler alert.
And it seemed like he was out for good. However, Feige backed up the money truck and pulled him right back in. And he said for a while that he always wanted to feature in the MCU. From what I've heard, he's also going to be in Secret Wars as well, which was a leak we broke during last year that picked up a lot of attention. From what we've seen of the set, both are going head to head, but they will team up towards the end of the movie. This is a similar sort of thing to what happened with Cable, as the pair both start off as enemies. Anyway, this is the big debut of Wolverine's costume in live action after it was first teased at the end of The Wolverine. So good seeing him donning the full suit, even though we don't get a full look at it. But, you know, we've of course seen in the behind-the-scenes stuff, and yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with this movie.
Yeah.
As for my thoughts on the trailer, I think this is a nice little teaser for what we're going to get without spoiling too much. It kind of strikes me as the sort of thing that they did with No Way Home, where they made it seem like a Doctor Strange thing, but teased other elements popping up in the film. As we got into it, we of course learned that Andrew Garfield was the werewolf, but they kept the marketing kind of restricted to that very first act. I kind of feel like that's what's happening here too, with a lot of the bigger moments probably being held back for further down the line. Whether that shows up in the second trailer, we don't know, but yeah, I think it's smart to not tease some of the bigger elements that I've heard in this. I'm sure there's way more surprises than what's already got now, and when you think about it, the scenes from The Void, you know, that's all we really seen of the movie. A lot of this would have been shot on a soundstage, so there'll be so many characters that we don't know are popping up who will appear in the film. Not to get too hyped, not to get on that multiverse of madness thing again, when everyone's like, oh, Tom Cruise, he's in the movie. And even when they showed the trailer, people are still like, that's bloody Tom Cruise. It's like, it's not Tom Cruise, mate. It's not Tom Cruise. It's not, just leave it. So I don't want to hype it up too much by saying all the stuff I've heard. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on in this film that I think are going to surprise a lot of fans. Hopefully they manage to keep it all under wraps, and the marketing for Deadpool's always next level, with Reynolds being heavily involved in creating unique ways to promote the movie.
Yeah.
Even back in the Deadpool 2 days, he was running the Twitter account for Peter and coming up with unique ways to take it. It's this creativity that really makes Reynolds shine, and it also seems like he's gonna bring this to the movie. We don't even know what the full title is, and they've been teasing things like Deadpool and Friends. I know Deadpool and the Wolverine's been registered as a trademark as well. I'm hoping to go with that, but yeah,
I feel like that's a good name.
So many things around this movie that are going to keep it as a constant talking point. I feel like the MCU needs a big shake-up right now, as they seem to just be putting together serviceable products that they can then bang out the door.
Why is
it doesn't really
Citizen
feel like
Kane?
there's the love there anymore, and instead it's sort of like they're just making content for the sake of making content, rather than making it because they feel they have a story to tell. Deadpool 3 actually feels like they're bringing something unique into it, and there's still so little that we know about the movie. Just Ryan doing that teaser at home and announcing the film, that was such a unique way to take things. Reynolds really feels like he's taking the reins here and creating something that he's passionate about.
Yeah.
I often feel that's a big issue in Hollywood right now, and it seems like we've sort of hit a trend about destroying the past. Seen that happen with a number of things recently, where new hands take over the reins and then just decide to crap on the legacy. Seems like Reynolds embracing all that stuff and paying respect, all while doing it with a joke that fans can actually enjoy. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes, and this teaser was a big way to start things.
That was a lot of details that we certainly missed. My favorite one, I suppose, was hearing about Professor X's sister and like that whole thing. I didn't know he had a sister. And the way she was crafted by her own sheer will, you know, of her spirit, using sewage. It's like something in the, sewers.
She was in the sewers, and then she used his DNA to create a body.
Like these two fetuses fighting it out, duking it out inside the mom's tummy. It's
that's
crazy.
Wild. That's like such a crazy story. I was like, I would watch a movie about that. This Cassandra Nova. She seems pretty cool.
I would love to know what inspired such a story. I have this ex-girlfriend who had an ex-boyfriend that apparently was a twin, but
he ate the twin.
He absorbed the twin.
Yeah.
But I liked to joke that he ate his twin, and like it was just funnier. It's a funny.
Yeah, that happens. You know,
the twin eat They eat each other in the womb? That's not possible.
I mean, I guess the correct term is absorb the other one. I do like the idea of like, I'm hungry. Nom, 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 nom. I'm going to eat you. I'm the stronger one.
Like, that is a means of, like, survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
You know? But which twin absorbed which? That's just an exciting notion that she, like, the character was, who I had no idea who it was in the trailer.
I didn't.
You know, that we have some information about that.
I didn't either. That's, like, a really interesting idea. I also love, like he said, we got a lot of exciting things in the teaser, and it was just so cool to see Deadpool and then to get Wolverine teased, as well as, like, a whole bunch of other characters as well. But they really didn't give too much away, and I really hope that we can keep things under wraps and that too many leaks aren't exposed, because I just want to have a good time. I want to be surprised. I want to have fun with it. And I didn't realize how much I missed Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool until I saw the trailer yesterday, and I'm like, he's perfect as this character. Like, his personality, his sensibilities, it just really speaks to the role, and the fact that, you know, he is taking such an active role in writing it, creating it, all of that stuff. Like,
he cares a lot.
He cares a lot, and so I hope it does really well.
I mean, it's been years, right? And obviously we've had a pandemic and all that, and that's slowed things down tremendously for a lot of people and a lot of things. But it's still been a really long time. And that, to me, says that he's been taking painstaking efforts to get this right. You know, like, he's not just throwing something together like, you know, heavy spoiler said. He's not just throwing something together to make a buck. It's like he wants to make the fans happy.
Yeah.
While also telling a story that makes him happy and that he's passionate about. Because if you just go for fan service, it's going to be terrible. But it seems like they're doing fan service while also telling a very compelling, entertaining story. That's full of ha-has. So.
Yes, lots and lots of ha-has.
Anyway, I'm very excited. You guys, hopefully you are too. I'm Jabby Koi. This is
Achara Kirk.
Peace out.